give it to you.
How seriously would you take a group of demon hunters if they broke into song and dance? You would laugh, right? What if their songs were good enough to sell out entire stadiums? And they summoned magical weapons from thin air. If I were one of the demons on their hit list, my amused laughter might taper off into a scream of terror as the members of Huntrix cut me down while nailing a high note or managing a harmony. The protagonists of K-pop demon hunters are good at what they do, and they need an opponent equally clever and capable if Gwi-Ma wants to stand a chance at defeating them, which is where Jinu comes in. The heartthrob with a voice of gold might be a demon, but he knows how to work a crowd and manage a boy band. His fellow demons might have laughed at the Saja Boys, but they can't deny the group's success, especially when they came close to defeating Huntrix forever. Jinu's a compelling character with a fantastic antagonist, so fans of the film were devastated to see him killed off at the end. We can't help grasping at straws, hoping we'll see him again in the future. Today's video is all about Jinu, why his character has become so successful, and how we might see him return.
Jinu, no!
I'm sorry for everything.
The quiet arrival of K-pop demon hunters gave rise to a pop culture phenomenon. And now there's an avid fan base where one didn't exist before. The songs have topped the charts and the characters have become subjects of online debate, as viewers dissect everything that makes them tick. Jinu's no exception. The demon with a dark past and passion for song was one of the best parts of the narrative. And the film wouldn't have been the same without him acting as Gwi-Ma's right hand to take down Huntrix. However, this theatrical demon stands apart from his peers, as he doesn't take the same pleasure from reaping mortal souls and serving his master's whims. He loathes himself for abandoning his family for fame and fortune within the palace, and he's desperate to escape the memories so he can live out his remaining eternity in peace. His ultimate goal is entirely selfish, and he's willing to sacrifice countless mortals for personal gain, which makes his relationship with Rumi all the more alluring. Not to mention, Rumi's mother also fell for a demon, seemingly having a relationship with one that resulted in her half-demon child. It allows history to repeat, only for Jinu's story to come to an abrupt end as he gives his life to help Rumi defeat Gwi-Ma. His sacrifice and redemption mark his first act of selflessness, perhaps in 400 years, which allowed him to reclaim his soul and relinquish it to Rumi. The film teased the Rumi and Jinu romance throughout the story, from Rumi acknowledging Jinu's beauty at the first encounter to their fans ironically giving them a ship name at their shared autograph signing. They're also kindred spirits drowning in a prolonged shame that others don't know about, which forces them to hide who they are from the people around them.
Where they least expect it. Go after the very thing that powers the Hun-moon.
For the first time, they meet someone they don't have to hide from, which allows them to be honest and vulnerable, creating a unique version of intimacy they're unaccustomed to. It's great to watch unfold, and it makes Jinu's final betrayal feel like a sucker punch, as he forces Rumi to come clean about her markings, despite knowing they could ostracize her from everyone she knows and loves. Not to mention it would mark her as a demon forever, and he knows that that fate is worse than death. I'm a huge fan of villains who don't face a full redemption in the end. Jinu cared for Rumi, there's no doubt about that. But until the film's final moments, he acted out of personal desire and desperation to end his pain. He didn't believe in her plan and chose to rely on himself rather than put his faith in someone else, again demonstrating the selfish nature of his character. It's fantastic writing. Granted, he does refuse to fight Huntrix alongside his fellow Saja Boys. He also throws himself in front of Rumi, acting as a shield to protect her from Gwi-Ma, where he reveals his soul had returned, but that's hardly a redemption arc. It's more like a redemptive action taken in desperation, as he faced the potential of losing someone else he cared for, while he stood by and did nothing. He couldn't add Rumi's death to his shame, knowing he would live with the survivor's guilt forever. His sacrifice might have cleared his conscience and alleviated his shame, meaning Gwi-Ma had nothing to blackmail him with. Without that poisonous voice in his ear, spouting lies and destroying his mental health, Jinu could wrestle control of his soul back from Gwi-Ma, potentially making him a free agent.
Have you thought about my proposal?
Look, I want to believe in your crazy plan.
So in his final moments, we have to wonder, did he become something other than a demon? If he no longer served Gwi-Ma and acted of his own free will, then we can assume he's not malicious or hungry for human souls like other demons appear to be. Gwi-Ma has an army of thousands prepared to heed his command. But although they fear him, they also want to haze the earth and steal life from mortal beings. Jinu doesn't have that same ambition, and he actively tries to escape Gwi-Ma's control at every turn. Therefore, does he become something like Rumi? Not human, yet not a demon either. He's an individual with demonic markings and powers, yet he doesn't bend to Gwi-Ma's control. In Rumi's case, she remains in control of her mind and impulses, choosing to track down the Saja Boys and free her fellow Huntrix members from their control so they can rebuild the Hun Moon in a new light. She also goes to her mother figure, a fellow hunter, and begs her to take her life before her demonic impulses become too much. While the scene might imply that Rumi becomes dangerous and can't be trusted, it shows that she's in her right mind, has her wits about her, and prioritizes the well-being of innocent civilians over her own life. Unlike Jinu, she is entirely selfless, so it makes perfect sense that she's the one who inevitably wakes him up and shows him there was another way to oppose Gwi-Ma, to survive his torment and to thrive in the aftermath. Rumi is a fantastic protagonist and hero, and with her newfound abilities, she'll learn how to protect people from demons by using their powers against them. These powers now include a boost from Jinu, who gave his soul to Rumi, setting himself free in the process. Many fans believe Jinu is still alive, as his soul didn't disappear or fade out of existence. Instead, it appeared to engulf Rumi, enhancing her power and transforming her blade, making her strong enough to cut Gwi-Ma right down the middle. With her spirit imbued with his return in a sequel might be easier said than done. He could return as a voice in her ear, like a different, more angelic Gwi-Ma. He could be a spirit who offers Rumi guidance when she loses her way, or he is merely a presence she feels whenever she sings or uses her hunter abilities. There are countless possibilities, and any of them open the door to exciting narratives that will expand the K-pop Demon Hunters universe. The film's director, Maggie Kang, appears enthused by the idea, although she remains tight-lipped and coy about the possibility. And when approached by fans of the film, she shyly dodges the question with a smile or gives a mild hint about Jinu's return, should this stellar film receive a sequel. Kang's likely a Jinu stan, as are the rest of us, and she might have big plans for the demon-turned K-pop idol.
I just needed you to trust me, that's all.
No, I know your story. You were a good person and you still are. You just made a mistake.
With the fate of the franchise up in the air, anything's possible, but I think Jinu's chances grow more by the day, especially with his character receiving such a warm reception from fans. And who can blame us? We're all Saja Boy fans at heart. Their songs are just too catchy. I would love to see Jinu return, whether he is a half-demon like Rumi or something else entirely, where he must now move on from his old life and learn to live despite his past, leaving room for a proper redemption arc. Leaving his old family behind is indeed something he can never move on from, but he can spend the rest of his eternal life or a short mortal one choosing to make good choices that his mother and sister might take pride in. What do you think about the potential of his continued narrative? Do you believe Jinu has a future if the franchise continues? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below.
You're a demon, just like me. All we get to do is live with our pain.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. Subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to stay updated on our uploads.
That's funny.
Because if you really believed her, if you really thought you could escape,